What's up guys, welcome back to F1 at 2015 career mode. We're looking at episode 2 today. Obviously recap from Australia, pretty rubbish wasn't it? Rubbish race really, not a lot happened, didn't really know what I was doing, got stuck on a crappy race strategy and didn't really see anything until the last 5 laps. Hopefully today will be a little bit better. So we got a 7th place out of the last race, so we'll be looking at kicking things off at Malaysia with a bit of practice. Let's head out to Malaysia, see what is what.
Sit back and put your feet up as we head into qualifying here in Kuala Lumpur. Over the next few minutes, we'll find out who's got pace in the car and who hasn't. Last year we saw a wonderful race here in Malaysia, and I'm expecting another fascinating weekend to come here in Kuala Lumpur.
So coming up to the final corner on our first proper qualifying lap. Not even getting into 8th gear there for some reason. Don't know what that's all about, but watch the traction on the exit. DRS open, run to the line. Nowhere near pole at this rate. P8 ahead of our teammate though for the time being. We'll go for one more lap on this set of tyres, see what's what. So out the final corner, driving to the line. It felt like a pretty good lap, but it was actually slower. Alright then. Right, time to head into the pits for a new set of tyres, I think. Absolutely nailed that penultimate corner. We've already dropped to 10th, so somebody's already beaten us as the clock hits 0. So it's our final lap. Make sure we've got to nail this corner. It's not bad, but we seem to be lacking straight line speed. We're barely getting into 8th gear down that back straight, but here we go, across the line, improving by nearly a second as far as I could see there, so mid 39s. Hopefully that'll be enough to get us up some spots on the grid. We're happy, engineer's happy. We'll have to have a final look, see where we're going to line up for tomorrow's race.
It's been a mighty qualifying performance from Mercedes today, with both cars on the front row for the race tomorrow.
Well, both these drivers have been working hard with the team to ensure they get maximum performance.
So pretty much the same as last race. I think it's 6th where we started last race, or maybe 8th, something a bit further down, but sort of 2 Mercedes out front, Kimi Raikkonen not too far behind, then sort of Vettel, Ricciardo and myself. 3 tenths sort of apart between us, and then a 7/10 jump back to a whole gaggle of cars that are all together, so that could be interesting depending on our race pace. So the setup we've got on is geared towards 1 lap pace rather than tyre longevity, so race strategy could be interesting, but oh well, that's qualifying over. Points are awarded in the race, so let's go find out what happens for the Malaysian Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome from Sepang for what is going to be a fascinating race. It's the Malaysia Grand Prix. Pole position can only be secured by 1 driver, and the lucky gentleman goes by the name of Nico Rosberg this weekend. You wouldn't bet against the German driver pressing his Mercedes to victory today.
It's certainly better for a driver to be out in front, as they're able to drive without having to contend with the dirty air and overheating caused by being sat behind another car.
Nico won the last race with a performance that Toto Wolff called a drive of true class. He seems really at home in this Mercedes team, and it's from that.
So now the top 10 run through: Hulkenberg and Kvyat 9th and 10th, Nasser and Bottas, ourselves in 6th, Ricciardo in 5th, then the Ferraris, Raikkonen ahead of Vettel, and the front row, once again Mercedes, Rosberg ahead of Hamilton. Bright sunshine, don't think there's any chance of rain. Let's have a quick browse on the race strategy. Is there going to be... it's not going to tell us. Brilliant, thanks a lot game, cheers life. At least we're starting on the option tyres. What does it want us to do? 2 stops, stop 1. So he wants us to do start on options, then go to options again, then do primes for the final stint. So 28 laps. Let's have a look. 8 laps, then 9 laps, and then 11 at the end. We'll see. So obviously last race we got caught out quite a bit at the end of our stints with tyre wear, so we're going to have to be wary. Lights out and away we go. Bogged down on the start. Not a good start till Nasser comes through. Don't think there's anyone else on either side of us. So there's somebody on the outside there, that's Hulkenberg. Nasser running to the middle of the track, going up the inside of him, hugging that curb on the inside. Leave plenty of room on the inside for the AI. Side by side on the exit with Nasser. Rich Mixture still on the inside. I presume he's still on my left somewhere. Can't see him though. He's in the wing mirror now. A pretty hectic start, but we remain 6th place. Same as where we qualified for the first few corners. Getting a run on Ricardo, just clipping the back of him there as we try to pull out of his slipstream on the run to the double right-hander, and we're through. We are through. That's 5th place. There's been an almighty crash there. So let's have a look at that incident again. So on board with Ricardo, obviously we're up the inside. He's run miles wide, come back onto the track, clipped NASA, and there's a Williams behind us, and again that has then caused a massive pile up. The Sauber and the Williams, it is making contact there. So we're just outside the DRS window for Raikkonen. I'm really thinking about just going for a lot of Rich Mixture. Oh, Raikkonen's pitting. I was just thinking about going into Rich Mixture for a few more parts of the track just to try and get within DRS, but Raikkonen now pitting, so that's interesting. So he's going for an undercut. So let's have a look. The front two, or two ahead of us, are pitting at least anyway. So I'm sure that said Vettel was in the lead there. So both Mercedes are pitting at the same time. That's going to compromise Rosberg massively. This could be a chance for us. I'm getting my buttons mixed up and pressing everything wrong because I'm getting a bit excited at the opportunity of jumping Rosberg here. Our pit crew will be expecting us, so let's make it a good stop as Vettel, I've just noticed, has actually stayed out for another, at least one more lap. So that's interesting. Oh my lord. Yeah, that's interesting considering his teammate pitted some 2 laps ago. I haven't turned off Rich Mixture, which is annoying, and you can't change it in the pit lane, also annoying. But this is going to be interesting. How far behind Rosberg, Hamilton and Raikkonen are we going to be? So there's a lot of traffic, so it depends if they've been dropped into traffic or not. 2.3 from the Toro boys. That's an absolute mega stop. Here comes 2 cars, that's Kvyat and Hamilton. Here comes Button. No sign of Rosberg or Raikkonen. So there's Raikkonen, he's behind us, and presumably that's Rosberg behind him, so we are currently in a net 3rd position. That's absolutely mega. As much as that save, not sure what's better, that save or the fact that we're currently running net 3rd position. So this could be a double overtake on us by Raikkonen and Rosberg. There goes Raikkonen. Rosberg's following me. Button pits, Raikkonen passes, Rosberg is there as well. Drag racer is DRS on all 3 cars, slipstream from Raikkonen, side by side with Rosberg still to go into the brakes there for turn 1. Back end trying to swap ends, but Rosberg's still hanging around on our outside as we dive to the apex for turn 2, cover off that move. Straight line speed just isn't our friend at the moment. Rosberg giving us a bit of a dummy there, as he indeed goes past. So we'll get DRS on him back down here, but there's no point putting up with the Rich as we're not going to get anywhere near him, so we just haven't got the traction or straight line performance of the Mercedes, although saying that we are getting pretty close. I need to move that brake bar, I think, back to balance setting as we're just losing the back end a bit too much into turn 1 there. So that's us down into 5th place again. But I say, just like real life, the Ferraris really giving Mercedes a run for their money. Okay, Hamilton currently leading, but not by massive amounts ahead of Vettel. And Rosberg still currently sitting behind Raikkonen. Although down the pit straight, I think I've seen the distance. There goes Rosberg, and he is past Raikkonen. So that's very good news in terms of the fuel mileage. Burned off 40% fuel, and we're just about to start, or coming up to half race distance. That's very good. Very good indeed. Raikkonen's into the pit lane, Raikkonen into the pits. So he's going to be going onto the prime tyres till the end of the race. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out, whether there's going to be any sort of traffic for him, as we've got to make this lap count to make sure the gap isn't too big, so we can actually have a chance in this final stint of the race. So we try and get the car slowed down for the pit entry. There we go. Job done. I forgot to change my fuel mix again. Do not care though. There's a Mercedes in the pit lane. Are we going to hold him up? No, we're not. He gets out just ahead of us, Nico Rosberg, but we did gain on him 6.3. The gap at the start of the last lap was 7.9, I think it was. So he was really struggling. Let's have a look. Prime tyres go on. 2.3 again. Good stuff, Toro Rosso. Like your work. Watch that mini map for the car coming down the pit lane. Walk the pit straight. There it is. Oh, and the game's already fucked me by downshifting me to second when I was accelerating. Cheers. Cold tyres as well. Raikkonen's already up to temperature. That's going to be difficult. We're going to have to bide our time here then. Get them up to temperature, if possible, without crashing first. Christ, that understeer. And then we'll have to see if we can mount a charge later on in the race. What are you doing, you utter asshole? I tried to make it as clear as possible that I was going down the inside, but no! Mary still decides that he wants to fuck about on the apex. Looks like it's just starting to rain. I think it is starting to rain. Just a fraction too late to make any impact on the race itself. But I don't know. Got to keep our eyes out, make sure we keep this thing on the road, and see if there's going to be any mistakes as the rain comes in on the Malaysian Grand Prix with the final 2 laps to go. Well, hold on a minute. Hold on. P4? Somebody's retired. Somebody, either Vettel, Raikkonen or Rosberg, has retired. I've only just noticed. I don't know how long that's been there. So I mean the fight with Raikkonen is all but over. Hamilton's still in the race, so it's either Vettel or Rosberg that's had a problem somewhere. 19 runners, so they have retired. Looks like it's just starting to rain. I think it is starting to rain. Just a fraction too late to make any impact on the race itself. But I don't know. Got to keep our eyes out, make sure we keep this thing on the road, and see if there's going to be any mistakes as the rain comes in on the Malaysian Grand Prix with the final 2 laps to go. And so I can't tell if that's just really bad tyre wear or if the rain's already having an effect on the track surface. But either way, it's really making a big impact. Nah, this cannot be tyre wears. Ricciardo now moves up to 5th place. Oh, and it's really getting slippery now. So fuel. We got on fuel as we skate into the hairpin there. Well, that's it, race over. For the leaders anyway, Lewis Hamilton wins from, I got no idea, either Vettel or Rosberg. And whichever one whichever one of them it isn't, has retired from this race. So Raikkonen will come home third. Nothing we could do about him, unfortunately. So it looked promising first half of the race in terms of possibly being able to challenge him, but these prime tyres just really didn't do us too many favours. Neither has this rain. Oh my lord. But fourth place it is. Max Verstappen, only his second race in F1, and we're one position away from a step on the podium. That is fantastic stuff. P4, can't be too disappointed with that. Good points on the board. Be happy with that, son.
There are the results for this weekend's Grand Prix, and it's Lewis Hamilton who moves up to the top of the drivers' table after his win here today.
It's a position that Lewis is familiar with. He'll be keeping his feet on the ground, but he knows that every point counts and that he's off to a great start.
That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye and see you again next time.
So there you have it. It's Lewis Hamilton from Nico Rosberg, Mercedes 1-2, with Kimi Raikkonen on the final stop of the podium. Sebastian Vettel, I can only presume, there he is, down in 20th place. So Felipe Massa also retiring. So he was running in 5th place towards the end of the race. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's retired. Moving on to the points, Lewis Hamilton leading the championship. Only just though, by literally 0 points from his teammate Nico Rosberg, both of them sharing a first and a second the first two races. Kimi Raikkonen bringing up 3rd position. We're up into 4th place, level on points with Daniel Ricciardo, and Sebastian Vettel there, 15 points after his sole 3rd position finish at the Australian Grand Prix. And a DNF today. Constructors, Mercedes way out front as you'd expect, more than double the points of Scuderia Ferrari already. Infinity Red Bull Racing 22, Williams just behind on 21, and Scuderia Toro Rosso 18 points, obviously the only 18 points that we've got, I believe are due to ourselves. It is indeed. Carlos Sainz, get your act together. As I say, we're in a good position, see if we can take the fight to the teams above rather than looking at the teams below. But that has been the Malaysia Grand Prix. Hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. It was a bit of a nail-biter, especially in the sort of early to middle part of the race. Really thought we could take the fight to Raikkonen and Rosberg after that first stop and getting up into 3rd place. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. 4th place it is. And next up, we've got China. So until then, it's bye for now.